like LeBron, though, or like Lonzo. Ooh, I'm a baller, yeah, shot caller, yeah. They love me, you can't touch me, nah, can't trust me. I'm too lucky. Look at me, look at you, what you see, what you do. Baby, please, think it through, drink it up, enjoy the view. MVP on my crew, Nike on my shoes. Might be sipping booze, slightly feeling loose. If I want it, then I have it.
All right, boom, boom, boom. This is Jared, and I'm back. All right, you guys, man, thanks for being patient with me. All right, thanks for rocking with me tonight. All right, I've got a great story. I'm going to be telling a kidney disease warrior story. His name's George Biggerstaff from Lexington, Kentucky. All right, so I'm live now on YouTube and Facebook, and I'm going to be telling his story. But y'all know what time it is. It's time to come together. Don't be stingy. All right, please share this. Share this with anybody and everybody you can. Share with the people in the back row. All right, make sure they heard it. All right, here we go. So I'm going to immediately, to speed this up, I'm going to bring him on. So here we go. All right. So if you want to watch this live, please tune in on you can watch this live interview on YouTube at the Warriors Quest Show or Facebook, the Warriors Quest Show. All right, here we go. Bringing him on now. Here we go. Everybody give him a very Warriors Quest Show warm welcome. Hey, how we doing, George? How we doing?
I'm doing all right.
Good. Hey, sorry for the bumps in the road, but we finally did this, man. We
No
got it.
problem.
Yeah. So I saw, like I said before, I saw your TikTok video. Felt inspired to reach out to you so I could help you get a little bit more exposure and get your story out there. And so thanks for coming on. I appreciate it.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. So what I'd like to do is, I know a little bit about you, and so I've introduced you as somebody whom I've met on TikTok who's from around. Sometimes it's not exactly Lexington, Kentucky. Like I say, I'm from Salt Lake City, Utah, but I don't live directly in Salt Lake City. But from that area, and so I'm going to give you a chance just for a moment, just solo, to kind of tell your story and where you're from. Tell us where you grew up, or just kind of introduce yourself, and let's let the people here who are watching live, give them a glimpse of a day in the life of who you are and where you've come from.
Okay. Name is George Biggerstaff. I'm from Lexington, Kentucky. Been in Kentucky all my life. Active in the community. Like right now, I'm running for election for November for magistrate in my city. So I try to not let this kidney problem get me down. So I always active.
Good for you. So have you lived all your life in that area in Kentucky then?
Yes, all my life, what is it, 41 years in Kentucky.
All right. Very nice. Okay. So I've got an aunt that lives in Kentucky. I just can't remember what city there. It's a big state, but I'm very interested in regards to how different the weather is if you go from Kentucky to a neighboring state, or how is it like right now with the weather?
Right now it's raining, and I got it on TV, and the news been saying tornado watch somewhere. So I guess we have to expect some type of tornado, severe storm watch.
All right. That could be a little scary. When I lived in Colorado, I was born in Colorado, but I lived most of my life in Utah. When I lived in Colorado, that sometimes, because you get some of the tornadoes coming from that Kansas area, if you know what I mean.
Right.
So
Yeah.
I've dealt with that a little bit. And if I want to say, I'm going to give a special shout out to Candy, who's watching. She's a kidney transplant recipient herself.
Okay.
And her daughter is a kidney donor.
Wow.
And her husband is currently on dialysis. Talk about, being a dialysis warrior family, right?
Wow.
Yeah, Actually, now that I think of it, I apologize, Candy. I think her husband may have passed away. And if that is the case, and I've just said her husband's on dialysis now, and I apologize, Candy. I knew that, and I shouldn't have said that. I apologize. Much love to you, Candy. So big. So George, let us let us know a little bit about how this all started with kidney failure. How long have you been on kidney failure?
This is the fourth year, coming up on the fourth year. Uh, I have been diabetic for the last 20 something years, but I was on blood pressure pills, but I was just going to the health department. So they was only, just seeing me. So they wasn't really checking me. So I'm thinking that's what really did it, not being on the right blood pressure medicine.
Okay.
So also a master barber. So I was in a barber shop one day,
Okay.
and I told one of my coworkers, I said it took me like an hour to put on my shoes today because
Hmm.
so swollen. Said, you need to go doctor. I'm like, nah, it'd be all right. So I start wearing compression socks.
Okay. To help out. Yeah.
That wasn't helping. So walking from like the door to my chair, I'd be a four out of breath.
Wow.
So
Really?
then it was my
You're like, what is going on, right?
it was my family reunion out of town, like about an hour away. So I drove an hour away
Hmm.
to my family reunion that day. Went from the park, from where I parked at to the shelter, and was out of breath. And I was like,
Okay.
right. So I got back in the car, drove an hour back into town, went straight to the ER. They checked me. Next thing I know, I'm waking up in surgery with a tube in my chest doing dialysis.
Oh my gosh. So they,
I was in ICU for 2 weeks,
uh-huh.
on dialysis every day, and they took out 34 liters, 3,400, 34 liter, 2 liters of fluid.
Mhm. Wow.
So I
Wow.
weighing like
Wow.
I was so swollen. I was like 320 pounds, and I never been that.
Yeah. I mean, swelling, obviously in hindsight,
Yeah,
you and I already know that that's one of the signs, but at that moment, you probably just thought it was maybe some sort of sickness.
yeah.
You probably had no idea you were in kidney failure.
Never knew
It's
until
a
I had that. I guess you call it what, the ass cat that's connected in your chest.
Mhm.
So
So they yeah, it's the one they do there. And so was how long were you like in the hospital when this all happened?
I was in ICU for a week.
A week, okay.
Hospital total for 2 weeks.
Mhm. And
So I was transferred to a room. Then as soon as they start doing the dialysis, I start getting better. So they took me to my own room, and I would put on my shoes after I got my energy. After a couple of days, I put on
okay.
shoes and walk around the hospital.
Okay. And at what point did you have like a discussion, a talk with a doctor? And was it a couple days after your emergency sort of dialysis, or at what point did you have a discussion with the doctor where they were frank, where someone was frank with you about your kidneys are failing? Was it just that day, 2 days that later, or how long?
That day, I went in probably 3 o'clock and was in surgery at 6. So
Wow.
that quick, I didn't even have this time to decide nothing.
Nothing. Wow. 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 And you know, I get it. I do, because I have high blood pressure runs in my family, brother. And you know, I take lisinopril, and I don't know, if that's the one. I know that some people have an adverse reaction to lisinopril,
Yeah,
but is that the one you use too?
yeah,
Then, yeah. And
yeah.
so I take that, and I've actually tried to be a donor, and I've been declined multiple times because of my high blood pressure. But man, I know it's in my family, and I know that if I don't watch it, I know that something like that could happen just as easily, for me as well. I've got siblings, and they've had their high blood pressure has risen to I think as high as like almost like 280, 300, and It's crazy. I've been fortunate enough where I have like pre-hypertension almost like on a daily basis where it hovers around like, 150, 160 over 80 or something like that. But, and so I've been able to manage it, but my siblings, man, they've had some bouts with it, that's for sure.
And most people, we don't even check blood pressure like that.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
till you start feeling, and more like with black men, we don't really have a sign. We just keep going like well, like white, y'all turn red, and it shows you a sign that your blood.
Right. You make a good point. Like,
I
you know,
did
yeah, if I'm embarrassed, I
telling how,
blush.
yeah, so telling how long I walked around with high blood pressure,
Yeah.
checking.
Silent killer. You're right.
Yeah.
All right. So what I'm doing is I'm typing in here your transplant hospital information so that I can show it on the screen as
Oh,
well. So do you still have like a port, or did you end up getting a fistula, George?
I had the thing in my chest for probably 6 months. Then it was up. The technician gave me more information when he was doing my dialysis in the hospital. Said check into PD. So
Okay.
I went to in clinic for about 6 months, and at the time I shared custody of my son, and he was 1 at the time.
Okay.
So going to in center doing dialysis and have to unhook. As soon as they unhook, I'm running to my car, throwing up to go on the side of across town to go pick him up
Wow.
custody. So I'm like, this ain't can't keep happening. So I start reading more into PD. So I went to PD instead of hemo.
Okay. So you do peritoneal dialysis right now?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, many people that I've interviewed who do PD, they feel like they not only have flexibility, many of them have stated that they like the flexibility where if they had to go, I don't know, if they had to go do it a different city, it would be more flexible because they wouldn't have to make an appointment with another clinic, to
Right.
do dialysis. So there's a little more flexibility. And then because they've told me that because they're dialyzing regularly, that they compared to being on hemo in center, and doing hemodialysis in center, that the comparison is they feel better because they're instead of 3 days a week, you're having the dialysis done every day. Um, if you were to compare the two, how would you compare it for you? I know it's not a one size fits all, and every kidney warrior experiences it differently because each body is different. But how would you compare the two for you yourself?
Only thing with hemo I didn't like was being in center and you become friends with your cheermate. Then all of a sudden your cheermate disappears and you don't know if they passed, and you be like, is this gonna be me in a couple months? That's what you keep going through every other couple days. Like,
Okay,
it's gonna be me disappearing.
right.
So with PD, you can do it on your own time, but you gotta be very, very thorough. You gotta have room for your supplies because I have a lot of supplies. You gotta be patient with time. Like right now, I'm hooked up right now, and I do mine as I sleep on my machine. So you just gotta have patience. Like, you got to go on as I try to go on at 7 o'clock at night. That way it doesn't affect me the next day because it takes up to 9 hours.
Okay.
So the later you wait, the later the next day it's going to affect your day.
Yeah, you're right. So you've got to be disciplined because it's a routine. And so what you're saying is that as long as you're on that routine and you're doing it like you're supposed to, then you're generally going to regularly feel as well as possible. But when things don't go as planned, like whether there's, I don't know, Baxter's a day late, or maybe there's a malfunction and something needs to be repaired. Maybe I'm presuming too much. Are you on the machine or are you doing manual?
Now I'm doing the machine, the manual. I do manual not often because when you do manual, like I forgot her name. I think it's Melody that we follow on here.
Right.
Like I
Pino.
know she
Yeah.
manual, but only thing with manual I really don't like because every time you open yourself, you expose yourself to get
Mm-hmm.
infected. So now when you're doing manual, you opening yourself 4 times a day versus.
Right.
So that's why I really don't like doing manual. But if I travel, I would do manual versus taking my machine. But the clinic will let you get a case to take your machine, and they have the supply already waiting in the hotel room when you go.
Okay. So they're able to give you your supplies by delivering it to a certain door, is what you're saying? And
Yes, like you
okay.
call them and say if I want to come to your city, I'd be like, I'm coming down there and give them the information, and they already have it waiting in my hotel room, the supplies.
Okay. All right. Very cool. All right. So I'm sorry. I'm trying to make sure that I'm having some people on TikTok hear this while I'm doing this because
Okay,
I, you and I've got a good following there, and I'm hoping to at least have some other people that are there hear this. So,
okay.
um, so uh, when they're delivering it well, you've got them delivering it, and so is it done in such a way where you don't have to, you know, are they doing it where they're bringing it into your place,
Yes,
or
they blink every other week. They bring it to my house. I have to
okay,
order like I ordered last week and they bring it tomorrow between 3 to 7. Weird schedule. And they bring it and set it up in your house and all that, store it for you. But I always tell them leave it in my hallway in front of the door. So
okay,
because I feel like if I can move my own supply to make me feel more like more in control instead of helpless, waiting
mm-hmm.
for somebody to do something for you.
Yeah, I mean, I've interviewed other people, George. It's interesting that you say that. Is that many of them struggle with that emotionally, the control aspect.
Right.
You know, so I can only imagine how that must feel like initially when you first had kidney failure, and to now even daily, that some of the control of what you used to do is not there anymore. And so, other warriors go through that every day, and I've interviewed many people that talk about that. And that's why earlier when I was talking about, I really want to help, you know, I want to help warriors feel visible, like they're seen, because they feel isolated and invisible sometimes.
And which is true, especially with doing PD, because you really can't hang out late at night with nobody, no friends. And
Right.
single like me, you can't really date because it's embarrassing to tell somebody you hooked up to a machine at night. Like
Right.
that's not very
It's not a good opener, is it?
uh,
Well, talk to me a little bit about, your barbershop, and tell me a little bit about what you do there because I find that interesting.
well, I hold my license. I quit cutting when
Hmm.
Corona came, but I keep
Okay.
my license current. So I went to a school and became a paraeducator in a elementary school.
All right. All right.
So to help with kids that's behavioral kids and stuff like that. So that's what I'm currently doing right now.
Okay.
And hopefully I'll be switching to the high school when school start back up.
That would be cool. Yeah.
Off right now, and I had to take them the last. Well, we got 5 days left of
Something
school.
like that.
So the last 2.5 weeks, I took a medical leave off because it was just getting to me. Because with elementary, I would have to be up at 6 o'clock in the morning, dress my son, unhook from machine, been unhooked for
Oh my gosh.
10 minutes. So then I pull up in the school parking lot. Sometimes my levels ain't together yet. So I'm throwing up in the parking lot
Oh
to
no.
work. And it's just was just too
Wow. That's a lot, to do. And, it not only is a lot like physically, because
right.
obviously your body's reacting, but emotionally, that's a lot to handle.
Yes. Very. And it's like you don't know what to do. Just
Well,
being fine one moment, and then all of a sudden you get nauseated and I'm constantly taking Zofran for nauseated medicine, and
Yeah.
it's not fun.
No, it's not. And that's it's not only not fun, but it's emotionally a real roller coaster for a lot of warriors, and
Yes.
and that's why I do this. Why I want to get the story out there is that that some of that invisibility that we've talked about is because some of the people that don't know somebody who's on dialysis, the people who um, think that dialysis makes your life better, and in a way it does, right?
Yeah.
It's supporting your life. It's a life support. However, it's not it's it's not giving you a quality of it's not giving you a quality of life. It's not a great life to live because even though, for example, PD, you know, many people have said, I've not done it, but many people have said to me that, they get dialyzed frequently, more regularly than when they were in center doing it, that they do like that. And they feel more refreshed.
Hmm.
With that being said, they're still having to do dialysis and they're still going through kidney failure and they're still having other issues too.
Right.
So, you
And,
know,
and the
you know
one
what I
thing
mean?
I really don't like about PD, I can't go swimming.
Yeah.
No one talks about that. So,
They really don't, do they? Yeah.
I have a 5-year-old that wants to swim and I can't get in the pool with him. It's like, what do I do? Do I try
Uh-huh.
to be in the pool with him?
Right. Yeah, it's the little things that people, that people don't do anymore that can really cause some frustration and struggle. And
Right.
you know, and and again, that's why I want to do this and why I do this because I want to bring to light, to the people who aren't familiar with kidney disease, the people that don't have a loved one that's on dialysis, the people that don't have a relative, a friend who has dialysis. Those are the people that I want to help bring more awareness to because those are the people, hopefully, and in my experience with the success that I have had in finding living donors, that's the people that we need to inspire. And sometimes it's not easy because there are many misconceptions. Like I just said, when they think that if you're on dialysis, you're okay.
Yeah.
And you're not. So you not only have the fact that your kidneys are failing, but often it's not talked about that when it gets to a certain point, there's little to no urination. And again, that goes with some of the control that's going away.
Mm.
There's also insomnia.
Yeah.
There's anemia. I mean,
I have all of that.
there we go. Right? Check, check.
I I go get orange shots. I get Macer shots every 2 weeks. Iron injection. The sleeping because I lay one way and you get comfortable and the machine will start going off. So I'm up and down using the bathroom. It seems like my water pill works at night more than in the daytime. So I usually sleep 3 hours at night, and throughout the day I try to sleep like Marine. I lay on the floor, put my feet up, and try to take a 10-minute nap.
Right.
So I've been doing that for the last 3 something years. It's
Uh-huh.
like ridiculous.
Gotta be creative, right? Gotta
Yeah,
be creative. But the sleep thing is very important though, because
yeah,
we often take that for granted because if obviously when we hear people when we make that statement when someone snaps easily is we say they're grouchy, and the reason why someone may be grouchy is if they didn't sleep well is because when you're well rested, your brain works better. Your body tells you different things when it's not well, and one of them is if you're not getting enough sleep, your brain power isn't there. And if your brain isn't working on all cylinders, brother, then other things start to happen. You could be cranky. You could be, I don't know, you could not be as focused to do something. Your clarity's not there. I mean, there's so many different things just with that alone. But of course, that's not the only thing. You also mentioned, anemia, and there's all sorts of things that come into play because of the high blood pressure as well. So this is why I talk about this, and I don't talk about it to remind you, because those things. And if there's anything I've left out that I haven't talked about, please let me know, because I want to let people know, again, not to remind you, but it's to let these people that don't know about to open their eyes. I know they're not going to be able to totally understand fully unless they're walking in your shoes. That they can't. But that's why oftentimes, when I've got like Britt or Mel, Melanie Pena, and other people that we've met, you know, that's why these people that are already going through what you're going through, or others that have had a transplant, they can help me and help you because they understand it. But I only have I have a glimpse, just a glimpse, a sliver of understanding. I can never fully understand, but I've seen I've seen many of the people whom I've interviewed and advocated for. I've seen their depression. I've seen
Yeah.
it's real. It's real, and mental wellness is very important. And I've seen them get very frustrated because they're vomiting. I've seen them get frustrated because of neuropathy.
Yeah.
Several different things that cause them pain. And
And you scared sometimes because like depression is like days you get depressed and you want to talk to somebody, you want to tell your doctor, but then you scared because if I tell my doctor I'm depressed, will it pause me from being on the transplant list?
right, right. No, it's a valid point. It's a valid point. You
So
know,
to hold
you
that stuff in.
you make a valid point, because you want to share information, but some information
You can't.
you're naturally resistant, because you want to be able to go on a good path with your transplant team and not let them think that that you're not eligible or what have you. But so that's why I do this, and that's why I want to talk about this, is because there are so many misconceptions out there. And I did a stitch on TikTok just I think it was yesterday, for Brit, because someone had commented, and she was doing, on TikTok, you can click on the comment and then you can actually reply with a video and do your own TikTok video of a reply. Well, she was doing that, and the comment from someone was, "You really think you're going to find somebody who will donate a kidney to you on social media?" And it frustrates me. It frustrates me so much when I hear stuff like that. And again, I don't understand totally. I never will. But by nature, God has given me a great amount of empathy. It's just one of my skills, and I have empathy for people that are struggling. I've struggled with anxiety. I struggle with anxiety still. I've struggled with depression after my parents died of cancer separately, not at the same time. And so when and then I've interviewed so many people in the 3 years that I've been doing my Warriors Quest show, that when I when I in any way feel as if somebody's being treated unfairly, it frustrates me, and this frustrated me. So I actually stitched her video, and in fact, I was driving, so I did a green screen, so it didn't look like I mean, I was using my Bluetooth and I had my phone on mounted on my car, so it was, in my mind, safe. You can say what you will, but I did a stitch real quickly. It was a very short stitch, but I just basically went on and stitched her video and told her, or told whoever was going to watch, that yes, it can be done. And I said, I know it can be done because I've been directly involved with helping people find a living donor. But so I did that, but the reason why it frustrates me is, let's say, number one, okay, let's say she never finds a living donor. Okay, maybe
Mm.
she won't. But who is this person to say that and put it out there to her in a comment
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
that's devastating. Okay. You never know someone's psyche during that day. And you don't know, okay, on a day to day basis, even when someone doesn't have kidney failure, what they're going through. You know, um, somebody could be, somebody could have lost their job. I mean, you never know someone's psyche and what they're going through. And I can only imagine, and I'm and kudos to her that the way she did respond, but it infuriates me. It does, and I try to cool down a bit, and I try to stay as calm as I could, but it makes me mad because why would you say that and take away and remove hope from somebody? It just makes no sense, you know?
Because our anxiety is it's like ridiculous. Like I answer every call that rings to my phone, spam and all, because I don't know if that's calling.
You
The
never know, yeah, any moment.
part telling you sitting there waiting. Like right now, we can be right here, and I get a call saying I got 2 hours to go out of town to have a match. You know,
Mhm.
hating on that, especially for 4 years. Well, it's four, but you can only count three because it paused for a year because of Corona. It was considered
Right,
elective,
okay,
and
but
that
it's really 4.
yeah.
Yeah.
What worried me the most was it's like, did I make Unos mad? Because they called me once, like my first year, and offered me a kidney, but the kidney had hepatitis B, C, and syphilis.
Okay.
So I'm like, are they not calling me no more because they mad at me? They put me on the bottom of the list. This is stuff I got to think of every day.
Right. Hey, I want to give a special shout out real quickly, George, to Verna Johnson. Hi, Verna. Verna is a kidney transplant recipient. And in this photo right here that you can see her Facebook photo, to the just side by side right there is her living donor. That's a photo with her living donor. And Verna she had reached out to me, man, it may have been 4 years ago. Maybe 3, I may be off a little bit, but she'd reached out to me and I made a short video. This is before Reels and TikTok became famous, but I had made a short video for her and one of the very first videos to promote her need for a living kidney donor. And it wasn't because of me, but my twin brother Jeff Brown and one of his another person that was in the advocacy um, helped her where she did a billboard and then someone saw a post on her Facebook page
Wow.
about her billboard and then looked for her billboard because they saw the Facebook post. And man, there's this the video of her and her donor when they met and she found out that her donor was about to save her life essentially. It's heartwarming. They're crying, they're hugging. It's just a great thing. And so I really appreciate you commenting, Verna, and it's good to hear from you. And I hope that you're doing well. I hope that your living donor is doing well as well.
And that's something I always think about too is what's next after, once you get that call. Am I prepared for that? Getting a transplant, have to take pills the rest of your life. And it's a guy that I went to barber school with. He's on his waiting on his third kidney transplant. So that worries me too.
Third, yeah,
Rejecting and right
right.
hospital now with blood in his urine. I'm like,
Mhm.
it's
No,
just
I feel you. That's natural. It's natural. It's very natural to feel that way. And we've got Steve Belcher watching. I want to
okay.
give a special give some props to Steve Belcher from Urban Health Outreach Media, aka Steve the Kidney Nurse. So it's
He
natural to feel that way.
he's really the only reason. Like I was on TikTok and I'm like, I'm not about to do TikTok. This is for kids. So
Right.
I ran into Steve's page and I'm like,
Yeah.
so that's what made me keep my account was his page. Then I
Okay.
do off of his, so he keeps my TikTok active.
Right. He
He
did the same thing for me. He did the same thing for me.
he's very like, I went to the doctor yesterday and I was naming stuff. She's like, your phosphorus is going down. I said, because it's foods I didn't even know I didn't supposed to eat, thanks to Steve the kidney nurse. She's like, who is that? Who is that? I said, it's okay. He told me stuff on video more than I've been here 4 years. Y'all ain't told me.
He does, and he's taught me so much. He and I have been collaborating since 2000. I met him in 2017 when my sister-in-law had kidney disease, and it was the end of 2018 is when he proposed the idea of the Warriors Quest show, and he's the one who came up with it. And when he proposed it to me, I thought, wow, this is just such a great concept,
Yeah.
and I was excited to do it. And and it was a little raw in the beginning. I've always been a person who loves the camera. I was in acting, I've done plays and stuff, and so I've never gotten terribly nervous. But
Hmm.
in the beginning, it was a little raw, and you can see how I've evolved and we've evolved and stuff like that. And I'll give props, and I just want to give mad respect to Steve right now, man.
Right.
I appreciate you, Steve. It's been a great journey, and I wouldn't have been able to do it without my brother right here, Steve Belcher. Thank you. So, listen, we got Verna, who's we're going to cover a little bit of your face here, George. Sorry about that, but it reads right here, Jared. Yes, the work works. We all are a great team. It was truly a blessing, and yes, Jamie is doing great. That's good to hear. That's her donor. Tell him to stay encouraged. His miracle is on the way. Keep shouting your story out loud, my fellow kidney warrior. So that's cool that she's saying that, George. That's awesome. Got the prayer icons, and so here we go. Steve said, "Jared, I remember." Yeah, thanks, man. Thanks, Steve. There. He's talking about how it was a little raw in the beginning and how I've evolved. I think that's why he's putting the laughing emojis there. But yeah, I mean, you can go back to either the Urban Health Outreach Media YouTube channel or Urban Health Outreach Media Facebook page and see my early shows. And I, in the beginning, I lived in a different house and I used a different studio. I'm in a different studio right now.
Okay.
And so, and then I started evolving where I wanted to always get better. So I got a microphone like I have now and started using a green screen. So this really isn't a studio behind me. It's a green screen, looks like it. And
Right.
got the spinning cube in the background. So whoa. But it's anyway. So we've really done some creative things to try to grab attention, and so that we can have people, if they're flipping through their Facebook or YouTube and they see what we're doing, something will hopefully grab their attention if they're scrolling. And so we just try to do that, and it's been fun. But the biggest and most gratifying thing has not been how we've evolved, and Steve is putting here, education is dialogue is key. That's right.
Yeah.
It is. It's because
Yeah.
we're opening up a way to talk about it. And because like we said a little bit earlier, George, there are some people here that may be watching, and if they're not, they may watch later, that don't know about kidney disease, they know very little about it, and they have misconceptions. And so awareness is so important. All right. And then look, I've got someone else who I wanted to give a shout out to. Margaret, how are you? Lovely, lovely Margaret. How's it going? Awesome. I've got my nurse. She also has Steve's book,
Okay.
and she says I've got to get on TikTok. Yeah, you've got to. Yeah, I think you'd enjoy it, Margaret. You would. All right, Nina's watching. I want to say and give a special shout out to my lupus warrior here, Nina Jensen. She's from my home state, George. She's from Utah, and she's got lupus. She has not had her lupus attack her kidneys so far, knock on wood, but she still deals with so much that whenever she watches the Warriors Quest show, that many of the kidney warriors she can relate to because she has brain fog. She struggles with fatigue. I mean, these are very similar things, headaches, very similar things that she deals with lupus. So many times she can actually relate, and she's a great supporter of mine. So much love and respect, Nina. You know it. All right, so we've got and Steve right here is saying, Margaret, thanks, Margaret, thanks for your support. Absolutely, we are very thankful for her support. For her support, we're thankful for Verna's support, and she
Yeah.
says awareness is key. It is, if we can get people talking about it, learning more about it, because that's what inspires. That's what inspires. And she says brain fog sucks. It does, yeah. So there you go, George. She knows it.
Right.
But that's what inspires donors, living donors, I should say, is that if we can give them, again, just a sliver, as I talked about briefly before, a sliver, just a smidgen of a taste of what it might be like. They're not going to totally know. They won't. But if we can at least try to paint a picture, how there's brain fog. We're talking about one of those things now that I don't think I brought that up earlier, did I? No. Yeah. The brain fog, the insomnia, anemia, and then the anxiety, the
And
depression, so many
the
different things.
the cramping, that's what I
Cramping, yes.
like, experiencing cramping in both of your legs, your arm and stomach at the same time, and it's like you paralyzed. Like,
So help me with this, brother. And let's see. I'm going to ask you because I've interviewed other kidney warriors that have said that there have been times where they've cramped up even in their fingers.
yes.
Does that happen for you too?
That's the main reason I don't really go to the shop like that no more. I done dropped so many clippers, my hand are just
Oh my gosh, yeah.
it up, and plus I done had carpal tunnel release too. So that
Uh-huh.
yeah, that cramping is
It's for real, yeah. So
mustard, pickle juice, but then you can't take too much pickle juice because it's full of sodium.
yeah, I got you. It is full of sodium. So Steve and I actually talked the other night about this. We were on we were live on TikTok, and he and I talked about this a little bit. Is that all right? So here we go. I brought up the wrong comment. So cramping comes from pulling too much fluid.
Right.
And so, one thing that maybe you can just kind of watch is finding out if you're doing PD is if somehow you're pulling too much fluid. So maybe Steve, if you know a little bit more about PD, if you can help him with that or give him some tips. But he's asking right here, how much fluid are you pulling, or how much fluid are you gaining, I should say.
Last night my machine poured 2,000 liters off. I used the 2.5, and I start cramping towards the so that now I know tonight I'm on the 1.5 because of that. I don't have enough fluid in me to do another 2.5.
Okay.
And we have with PD, we have a 4.2, which pours the most fluid, and I only use that probably twice in 4 years because I still make 1,500 liters of urine a day.
Okay. So Steve's saying it may be the dextrose.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Yeah, so and Steve and I talked about the pickle juice actually, and he's saying that medically there's not necessarily any evidence that proves that pickle juice works, but many people have said it helps them. But he says there may be just it's speculation, but he's saying that there may be just a correlation because you're putting more fluid on you, you
Hmm.
know, when you're drinking the pickle juice. But you got to be careful about the sodium. You're right.
Right.
It's some of
Like I used to keep that and Gatorade Zero, and
hmm
I think Steve he was saying that's full of phosphate. So I
It
stopped.
is, yeah.
I'm like,
Oh, you gotta be careful, right?
yeah.
All right, so she says, "Can you use saline doing PD?"
No, I never used it. I don't cramp that much. Just not that much.
Okay. So, what are some other things that we can talk about that maybe we haven't already discussed? So, we've got cramping, there's insomnia. Um, what are, you even talked about at the very beginning, if anybody has missed this, that have come on a little later, is that you talked about knowing that when you're in center, that sometimes you may have a friend or somebody who was next to you, a chair, someone who was at a chair regularly right by you, that you were concerned that maybe the next day you wouldn't see that person,
Right.
because that happens, doesn't it?
Yeah. And it's because the center is usually full of, like, I was the youngest person, and the center is usually full of older folks. Then I met another guy. He was my friend, and he would come over to the shop and cut hair. And then he'd want to call me every other day, and I didn't want to get close to him because it made me nervous, like being friends. Then all of a sudden he disappeared because he always had all types of issues. So trying to build a friendship in center is hard.
It's the truth. I've interviewed other warriors that have said that same thing, and then because when they do bond and start talking to somebody, and all of a sudden that does happen, it it not only is sad when you experience sorrow because it's a friend that's passed away, and that always hurts when you have a friend that passes away, but then it also is that real reminder, right? That this could happen to you. And
Exactly.
yeah, so it's a very difficult thing. In fact, I did a TikTok video a while ago where I put, do you talk to your, if those that do in center, do you talk to people? And that was kind of to spark that same discussion is, because some people they do, and then when they all of a sudden that person doesn't come anymore, and it can be hard. Steve's gone through that on the other side as a renal nurse. He's gone through that same thing where he's told me stories about his patients that he got really close to and bonded with, and then said bye to him on a Friday. Went back on Monday, and they didn't come back.
And that's one thing I have noticed. I don't know if it affects the nurses more. Like, I done seen so many nurses come and go at my clinic, and I'm like, who are you? Who are you? I can't keep up with their names because I guess it's too much on them and they leave. So I know it affects them too.
Yeah, so Steve right here saying, yes, it is, DJ. It's the same for caregivers like myself. I can't tell you the thousands of patients I've lost over 40 years.
Right.
Only imagine. Yeah. So that is another thing that sometimes isn't talked about is, the emotional side. It's a roller coaster of emotions of so many different things. The emotion of thinking, like you said, that you were going to get a kidney, and then that didn't happen.
Hmm.
That alone is very, very, it's hurtful. Um, and then for the unknown, especially in any shape or form, physically and not knowing how your life's going to be, can take a real toll on anyone's mental wellness. So again, people, if you're watching right now, we're trying to talk about things that aren't always easy, because it's not that I want to bring these things to light to get people down or to focus on the negative, but it's to bring these things to light because I want to have somebody listen who is a potential living donor who doesn't know these things. Somebody who is, ignorant in a way that has not just had this information given to them in an educative manner. Uh, we want to bring awareness that George is one of these guys right now that battles every day, and he goes through so many different things, and we're talking about those things tonight. Many people, like Margaret, knows she's going through it. Nina is a lupus warrior, and then we've had Verna, who has given us some comments as well. And so we're some of these people, even Steve on a different degree because he's been on the other side, can have a little bit of understanding, and those people can give you encouragement, and they can give you support, which is always great, because those that know what you're going through, when you get encouragement from them, it's like a teammate, right?
Right.
You know what I mean? It's like when Gronk gets some big ups, and props from Tom Brady, right? I'm sure that means more to him because Tom Brady's hard on people. But
'Cause it's hard. Like, I'm not gonna lie. Like, if it wasn't for my son, I probably would have gave up by now.
that's your why. What will it mean for you when you get a kidney transplant in regards to a
Probably
better quality of life for you and your son?
the first thing I'm gonna do is jump in the pool with him.
Nice. How old's your son?
He's 5 now.
Okay.
Yeah. So he keeps me active, like even days. He even knows when I'm not sick. I mean, when I'm sick, he leaves me alone. He'll lay beside me and stuff like that. So he's good.
All
He
right, all right.
out 911 just in case, and so
Uh-huh. Well, we've got Nina saying that, if when and that special day happens, she'll jump in the pool with you too. Heck, we all will. But I'll spare you. I won't wear a Speedo, I promise.
yeah,
So
the
I
pressure real too. Like the mainly the depression, but like especially with the hospitals. Like I was on the transplant list, like I text you and told you with Cincinnati
Mhm.
too. Like I jumped through every hoop with them. Then
Good,
uh,
good.
she calls and says I got a week to take a corona shot, and then didn't give me time enough to think. So I didn't really want to take a shot, and I still haven't took the vaccine.
Okay, okay.
And 2 weeks ago, they called and said, "Well, we taking you off the list." I said, "But you told me 3 months ago you did that. That could have gave me time to think more about taking this shot."
It's uh it's an
So,
interesting viewpoint.
yeah. So
Mhm.
on the Jewish because they don't require it, but I
You don't
have.
require it. Okay. So, you know, and the the reason why you haven't is your own personal reason, and so I just want to say to anybody who's listening right now that it's his own personal decision, and so let's focus, and not that rarely does it get political here, but we're not going to talk about vaccinations right or wrong. It's your own personal decision, and it's right for you because you've made that decision,
Right.
and
I
you know
fully didn't make the whole, the decision, but just give me time enough to
to
think,
research it and think about it. Yeah.
because that's a big decision.
Hmm. And I think anything should be thought through and how you should have time to contemplate and ponder about it. And so I don't fault you at all. I think that's wise. You got to feel good about it. It's your body.
Right.
You do you. So especially with you're immunocompromised already, and then when you get a transplant, it'll be a little more intensified as well. That
Hmm.
you want to be careful. That's for sure. All right,
Right.
Steve's got a comment here. Says, "Yeah, put put your back up against the wall." I'm not sure what he meant by that. Maybe he'll explain that a little bit. um,
Probably stand up for my beliefs.
okay, gotcha. That's
Yeah.
probably what he means. Yeah, it is scary. I can only imagine, Nina. People that that do have a chronic illness of some kind of chronic disease. You know, when something that's so new is introduced, I can only imagine that you want to be able to learn more about what you're putting into your body before you just do it. So, again, I don't fault you. I think it's wise to totally be more aware and to learn more about it. So she's saying she's proud of you, and I think that you should be applauded to well research something before just jumping in.
Yeah.
All right, so I think
But it took me 6 months to even decide if I wanted PD or not. I just knew I didn't want the fistula in my arm at this time.
okay, all right. So you still have the chest catheter,
No,
right?
that's out.
That's out.
Yeah,
Okay. So do you have a graft then, or
I
what are
don't.
the? Oh, that's right. You've got PD. What am I
Yeah,
thinking? Yeah, you
have
went to
that.
PD, so you do have a
Yeah,
PD catheter, but
yeah.
not the chest catheter. Yeah. So with doing PD right now on a regular basis, the in fact, many other people on TikTok I've seen that are doing PD, and my question is that when it was introduced to you, yeah, even Steve said this too. I'm like, he said that earlier, and I've seen your videos, your TikTok videos. I don't know why, because I think it was because earlier in the interview where you're talking about how you were on emergency dialysis at first. I think that's why I got sidetracked. But and when do you think maybe now, and this is just speculation, of course, but do you think more clinics and transplant centers are talking, more hospitals are talking more about peritoneal dialysis than they ever used to?
I think they are, because I never even heard about it. I knew about dialysis for years and years. Like, I had an assistant principal that was on dialysis. Then my dad at 39 got the graft put in his arm. Then he died that year, so he never got to use it. So that's what made me nervous about PD. I mean, about hemo, is
Okay, yeah.
him to. Never knew about PD until that technician. If it wasn't for that technician in the ER telling me, I'd have never knew.
Okay, all right. And what kind of a transition was that going from, you know, hemodialysis to PD? I mean, you had have surgery, and then how hard was it in the beginning?
It was very, very hard. Like, getting up 5 o'clock in the morning, going to clinic, rushing off the machine, like, because you usually supposed to sit, and like I said earlier, I never sat. As soon as you unhook me, weigh me, and let me out.
Okay, yeah. All right, so we've got some more comments here, George. So you know yourself and your body, so you stay strong and never ever go with everyone else, because you and your problem is different than theirs. You're right. Stick to your gut, because you know your body, and that's what I always try. Steve and I both talk about this. Is that it's be your own best advocate. Get education and learn more, because God bless, and I want to give respect to nurses, doctors, all the medical professionals, because they should and they deserve respect. However, with that being said, we shouldn't just blindly follow them like sheep and think that they never make mistakes, because sometimes they may make a poor decision. It's just we're human.
Right,
And if you are your best advocate and you're learning and you're educating yourself from reading Steve's book, or or asking better questions when you talk to your nephrologist or what have you, then when you're your own best advocate, then you feel your body feeling a certain way and you know yourself well,
right,
then you can say, hey, listen, this isn't right. I'm not feeling as well as I should. Something's going on. And if you speak up, man, props to you if you do that. I think it's great that, that Nina and other people right here are giving you respect, because more people should be doing that and standing up for themselves.
yeah. I question everything, because a doctor, it's their job to treat you, and they sometimes they don't have enough time to look into everybody's case and stuff like that. Like, you say you take lisinopril, I got prescribed that. I can't take that. It affected me,
Hmm.
and
I've heard that
okay,
some people have that
yeah,
reaction.
can't keep saying, yeah, I'm gonna take this pill and not say nothing.
Speak up, yeah. I Yeah, so and Nina's some great comments right here. So thank you, Nina, and um, she is private messaging me last week, and she was saying, "I'm sorry that I comment so much." Well, I'm not. Okay, continue to comment whenever I'm live. Don't not comment. I want to, don't feel like you're limited on comments, because you bring more to the live broadcast when we get more comments, Nina. And so
Right.
don't ever feel like you shouldn't comment. All right. So, I'm going to go back to a statement that Steve made right here. He says, it's all I'm the patient's, or in the patient's rights and responsibilities. I think that was a minor typo there. In the
Mhm.
patient's rights and responsibilities in the consent package. Yeah. And then it is a typo because he put in right here. Okay. So What I want to do is we're nearing the end here a little bit, George, is
Okay.
we talked a little bit about your son just a moment ago, and I just want to kind of go back to um, what kind of life are you envisioning in regards to transplant? And you mentioned that or you kind of talked about what he's the reason why you keep going. When it finally does happen, what kind of, jumping into the swimming pool, of course, like you mentioned, but
Hmm.
how do you how do you envision your life being with him, and what kind of quality of life are you picturing?
Just more active. I'm active more. I'm active now, but I want to be more active. Like I signed him up for baseball. Now he's on the T-ball team, and he wants to practice during the day. And sometimes I'm tired, and I'm like, I don't have the energy to throw with you, and it makes me so sad when I tell him that.
Okay.
Okay, I just play with the dog, and it makes you feel like you're not doing your job as a parent.
Right. Yeah. It's like I'm not a good dad. Is that what you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I could tell you have a lot of love for him, and I can sense that. I'm sure other people can do as well with your tone of voice and how you're talking about your son.
Hmm.
And my 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 thing is that everybody deserves a chance at a better life, and you do. And I'm inviting anybody who hasn't already shared this to please share this. I'm going to put the smash the share button banner up here. Please smash that share button. All right, please share this. I've got the phone number here to the transplant hospital. I've got that phone number right here, 502-587-4358. So we're looking for a living kidney donor, and we want to be able to help him have a better quality of life. All right, so with nearing the end of the show, I'm going to change spots just a bit.
Okay.
So, oh, hold on. We're going to go smaller here. It's painless. There we go. And I'm going to change spots right here. Here we go. Musical chairs. And what I'd like to do is it's shout out time. So, whom would you like to shout out right now? Who is somebody who, gives you drive, somebody who encourages you, somebody who supports you, somebody who's always there for you? Who would you like to shout out right now?
My mom and sister. Of course, my son and my one nurse. She's always texting me. You got an appointment today. Get your butt up. Get here. Get here now. What you eating today? So
Nice.
uh, she gets on my nerves, but
All
she
right.
checks on me.
Sometimes the people we love do that, right?
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, I'm gonna bring up some suggestion. Get one of those little pitching machines and sit out in a chair and watch him. That's fun.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. All right. So here we go right here. You're a great father. Awesome. That's awesome. How does that make you feel, brother? Man, that's awesome.
It makes me like I'm glad I'm this age with a kid this young because
Yeah.
20 years ago now.
Yeah.
Nah.
All
So
right. So, one of the other TikTok friends that I have that's watching is Andrea here. So I want to thank her for watching. Shout out to Andrea. She says right here, the cramping is ridiculous. My feet and hands are being attacked. So she feels yes, she can relate.
yes.
All right. Verna, thank you for watching. Sometimes it's not easy to advocate for yourself because of not knowing what to ask, and that's fine. Don't let that stop you. You just have no idea what to ask. Someone will step up and help you. I'm living proof. Awesome. Steve Belcher right here. Yeah, there's not too many nurses like that. That's, and and he knows better than anybody. He's been doing this for 40 years. A good nurse like that is, even though that nurse may get on your nerves, I can tell that she has great love for you if she's doing
Yeah.
that. So that's good. All right. So I want to thank everybody for commenting. I want to thank everybody for having tuned in, given him support. Continue to share this with the hospital information down at the bottom. And then reach out to him as well. Find him on TikTok, find him on Facebook. Give him some love there as well. Give him some support. Um, be his friend on those social platforms. And let's continue to make sure that we're giving this warrior some mad support. But George, thank you, my brother. Thank you for
Thank
coming
you.
on tonight.
No problem.
I appreciate it. Thank you. My only small request. I'm going to take this funny funny photo of me shouting. I'm going to take that off for a second here. My only small request is that when, and I will say when, okay, not if, when you do have a kidney transplant surgery, you know, hit me up. Let me know about it. We aim and try. I can't say we do it with 100% accuracy all the time, but as much as possible, Steve and I try to celebrate every warrior's kidney transplant surgery, and we it's a celebration, and we try to celebrate that when we hear about it. So if you would, just small request, hit me up. Let me know about it when that happens. Okay. Oh, and another small request, is it okay if I cut up some small 15-second clips of this video on TikTok? Is
Yeah,
that
you
okay?
that. Yeah, then I'm gonna start trying to get more followers. Start using that page more.
Cool, cool. Well, I'll try to do some more stitches and do some more duets or whatever I can to help you out as well. On
Okay.
TikTok. Okay, brother.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, thanks again for coming on. I'll stay in touch with you as well as I can, and have a blessed evening. Okay.
You too. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, you guys. So we've heard from George Biggerstaff from Lexington, Kentucky. It really touching story when he talks about his 5-year-old son. Please, if you haven't watched that particular scene in this video, go back to that scene where he talks about. There are a couple segments, couple scenes where he talks about his 5-year-old son, and it really is touching. Um, and if you know anybody else who would also be inspired by having watched that segment of when he talks about his 5-year-old son and why that's his why, that's the reason why he keeps going and he hasn't quit, is because of his son. Please share that so that someone else may also be just as inspired as I was when I heard that. Please continue to share this so we can give him an opportunity. Okay. Thank you so much. Seriously, we wouldn't be able to get this information out there to other people, to other potential living kidney donors without your help. And so I appreciate that mad support. Thank you so much. Thanks for Nina, Steve, Andrea. Thanks for tuning in, Andrea. Thank you. I'm going to give Verna another shout out. I know I'm missing Joe Ellen Knight. Thank you. She's an avid follower, very good supporter of mine and Steve's. And anybody else who I may have left out who watched but didn't comment. And maybe if there's someone who commented, but I haven't shouted them out and said their name publicly, I apologize. I'm trying to find. Oh, Margaret Howell. Thank you, Margaret, for watching. The lovely Margaret Howell. And I want to give a special I want to give a special big ups to Steve Belcher again and for what he does to the kidney disease community. If you haven't already, please buy his book, How to Survive Outpatient Hemodialysis. All right, where is it? I know I have it here. I'm going to try to show it. I know I have it. Where is it? No, I'm pretty sure I still have it here on StreamYard. Here it is. Is this it? Boom, boom. There it is. All right. So, how to survive outpatient hemodialysis. All right. You can buy this by going to StephenLBelcher.com. That's StephenLBelcher.com. Buy his book, How to Survive Outpatient Hemodialysis. I got you, homie. All right. I got you a plug. I told you I would. All right. It helps people. It genuinely does. Anybody who's bought this and read it will tell you that. does help people. Please buy it. You'll be very, very happy, and you'll be very, very rewarded because of the nuggets in his book. Anyway, thank you, everyone. Thanks, Nina. Thanks, Margaret. Thank you, Verna, Joellen. I know. I almost said, I almost said McFall night. Joellen's, she's teasing me here because I say that so many times on Facebook that I almost said it, but on YouTube it's Joellen Knight, and so it threw me off. It's so funny. Oh no, wait, no, it's a different person. Oh my gosh. All right, so maybe I thought it was the same person. Maybe it's just two similar names. Okay, if that's the case, then I'm so sorry. You're not on Facebook, then I apologize. It's a very similar name. There is a Joe McEllen McFall Knight on Facebook, and that's with the name being so similar. I thought that's who it was. I apologize. So if I've interacted with you and I'm not familiar with your YouTube handle, I apologize. Anyway, everybody, thank you so much for tuning in. Please continue to share this, not for me and not for my channel and not for what I do, but for George Biggerstaff. Please share this for him so that we may be able to show everyone who is a potential living donor can feel just as inspired and become a living donor for him. Thank you so much. All right, have a good evening. All right, where's that outro? I know I oh my gosh, where did I put it? Where? Oh, it is the same person. No, I'm totally off. Maybe I'm confused. Oh, it just means you're not on Facebook right now. Okay. I'm like, man, I thought that was the same person. All right, so Joellen, I thought it was you. Okay, good, because I really support everything you do and all of your support that you give us. You're normally on Facebook, you're on YouTube right now, and I thought it was you. And I feel horrible. I thought it was someone else, but it is you. Okay. Anyway, thank you, you guys. Thank you so much. All right. All right. Where's that outro? I know I had it in here. Where did I put it? Did you guys see where I put it? Did I put it underneath my table? Oh my gosh. All right, here it is. Here it is. All right. All right, here we go. Dance time. Dance.
Ooh, like LeBron though, or like Lonzo. Ooh, I'm a baller, yeah, shot caller, yeah. They love me, you can't touch me, nah, can't trust me. I'm too lucky. Look at me, look at you, what you see, what you do. Baby, please think it through, drink it up, enjoy the view. MVP on my crew, Nike on my shoes. Might be sipping booze, slightly feeling loose. If I want it, then I have